Hey, what's going on, everyone? How you guys doing? My name is Matt Jarbo. Welcome to $3 Theater. This is a late night video. I just saw this as I was going to bed. I had to talk about it, so I'm not on camera. I apologize. Apparently, Daisy Ridley let some information slip tonight about the Rise of Skywalker and Rey Palpatine, or more importantly, what could have been Rey Kenobi. And I got thoughts on it. So let's listen to this clip from her and Josh Gad talking about it to get an idea. Also, real quickly, love Daisy's smile. She's such a I like Daisy Ridley quite a bit. You may not. I really do. But this is what she had to say.
Have you been keeping Rey's secret from the beginning? Did you know about the parentage? Like, tell me about that journey of when you found out.
No. At the beginning, there was toying with like an Obi-Wan connection, and then it really went, there were like different versions, and then it really went to that she was no one. And then it came to episode 9, and JJ pitched me the film and was like, oh yeah, Palpatine's granddaddy. And I was like, awesome. And then 2 weeks later, he was like, oh, we're not sure. So it kept changing. So then even I was filming, and I wasn't sure what the answer was going to be.
Okay, so think about that. Originally, we have to go back. We have to go way back. The Force Awakens, it was going to be a Kenobi connection. That was a connection that they were going to have in The Force Awakens. I believe that was basically what she's alluding to there. Like, we were alluding to Kenobi. And then from there, she was no one, and that was The Last Jedi. And then JJ pitched an idea. Well, what if you're a Palpatine? And she's like, that's kind of cool. But then a couple weeks later, we're not too sure. Which tells me that that line JJ had said about Palpatine was always the plan, that he'd always been there, was absolutely, positively nonsense. And the fact that Rian Johnson killed off Snoke, killed off the bad guy, and also turned Rey into a nobody, left them with a massive hole to fill, a massive situation where they had to sit down and figure out a way to make it work. They had to sit down and figure out a way to bridge it all together. Now, listen, a Rey Kenobi actually makes a lot more sense than a Rey Palpatine. I didn't hate Rey Palpatine. I got what they were going for. I feel like the explanation was kind of crappy. You know, oh, it's one of my failed clones and that had no force powers, but he was able to sire a child with Jodie Corder, so I killed them both. Right? But then it skipped a generation, like male pattern baldness. And it just doesn't seem like it's going to work for me. I'm sorry. It doesn't seem like it's going to work for me. So Rey Kenobi, I mean, you know, like Jakku, Tatooine. I mean, there's a connection there. I get it. I see what they're going for. I understand it. But at the same time, I'm just like, it's a better connection, I think, than Rey F and Palpatine. You know, I just do. The more you learn about the Rise of Skywalker, the more, especially coming off that John Boyega interview from last week. Now you got this Daisy Ridley one. I mean, even Steven Weintraub, Frosty from Collider, who was like as big of like a studio shill as you could find on Collider. He's literally the kind of guy that's like, just tap me on the head when you're going to finish, sort of thing. Even he was like, JJ Abrams and Kathleen Kennedy should have no touching of Star Wars ever again. He made that bold proclamation tonight, and I was surprised. I was really surprised he made that bold proclamation tonight. Crazy as hell, if you ask my opinion. So what we have is a situation where now we're starting to see how the sequel trilogy unraveled. How we discover, we're now more aware of how it unraveled. We are now super aware of what went wrong, how it went wrong, and ultimately the failures of it. You know, and it's not that The Force Awakens is a perfect movie. It's my favorite one of the sequel trilogy. I like it. I like The Rise of Skywalker. I watched them back to back and I enjoyed it. Leaving out The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi is one of those movies I will go back and rewatch when I feel like I just kind of have to out of loyalty to the franchise. But as we get closer to The Mandalorian, and what we learned today from Jon Favreau's interview with Entertainment Weekly is what to expect from Mando in season 2, which is a much larger universe, a much more connected storyline with the season, with many more characters and much, much higher stakes. The progression is moving into its sophomore season in a way that's very different from how the sequel trilogy moved into its sophomore film. If it would have done it, what I think is that they learned their lessons from the sequel trilogy and they realize that they need more time to tell some of these stories, or they need better direction. They need better planning. They need all these things. And I have to give credit to Daisy Ridley, because she even says, look, during filming, I didn't even know what they were going to do, which tells me that it was an idea that Chris Terrio and JJ Abrams had, and that it was something that through production, they were toying with the whole time. And most likely it went all the way through to like the very end of the reshoots. They knew they wanted Palpatine, but they didn't necessarily know probably if they wanted the daughter connection. I get the daughter connection or granddaughter connection. Like, I get all of that. It's not even a granddaughter. She's really Palpatine's daughter, just through a clone daddy. The granddaughter thing makes no sense. It just really doesn't make any sense. It's just kind of dumb. But having Palpatine be there and be in the shadows was cool, and they could have done more with it. Him having controlled Kylo was a great opening to that movie, which really kind of set the stage for everything, and they didn't do anything with it. I love Star Wars. Everyone who knows me knows I love Star Wars. As I talk to you guys right now, I'm looking at a rug of a Millennium Falcon that I have pinned to my wall next to a whole bunch of Star Wars artwork and my Build-A-Bear Chewbacca. Huge Star Wars fan. The disappointment of the sequel trilogy is one that will always be felt. It will always be felt. I think they went in with relatively good intentions. I think JJ had good intentions. I think Kathleen Kennedy was up against a wall. I think they needed to I think The Last Jedi being the way that it was, Carrie Fisher dying, screwed things up. And the fact that they didn't change the ending of if they would have changed the ending of The Last Jedi, if they would have done and changed the ending of The Last Jedi and not done what they did, not have Luke die, have Luke live to carry on the storyline to the next movie, fans would be in a much different place. I really do think that. But knowing that Carrie Fisher was dead a whole year before the release of The Last Jedi and having it be her final real performance and everything else, it just goes to show you that they had no plan. They had no plan. It was like, the more we find out about this movie, the more disappointing it is. That's really true. Anyway, I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your opinions. Let me know down in the comment section. Let me know by coming to facebook.com/groups/$3 Theater. Getting on the action over there. I'll talk to you guys all later. Have yourself a great day. Thank you again for watching, and peace the